Well, in light of this latest batch of violence and nonsense that's gone on, we've really started to see more boldly than usual the ignorance on display from the powers that be in their attempts at a solution to the continued violence that happens periodically. They keep going on about how this is not a matter of prayer. It's not a spiritual thing. We have to make laws to take away people's rights, to take away their access to firearms or whatever, or to put more money into education so we can give people more understanding or to give people more opportunities in life. And on they go. This is all what they always do. But here it's really been bold and loud, more so than usual. But the problem remains. They're trying to solve a metaphysical problem with a physical solution, and it doesn't work. You see, the primary folly of the leftist liberal view on humanity is that human nature is, in general, good. The people are generally good, and they only do bad things because of circumstance. So, by that logic, if we can remove the circumstances under which they would do a bad thing, then they wouldn't do it. If we can just give them more education, help them to understand, to be more civilized, give them more opportunities, give them, as I've talked about before, trying to create this idea of a utopia by giving everyone everything, creating an equality that cannot exist, that is in defiance of physical reality itself. This idea that as long as people have everything they need and they're taken care of, they don't have to worry about anything, they don't have to struggle, then they'll be good. No, they won't, because you're missing the point. The reason people do bad things is because they're bad people. This is a fact. This is a fallen world. Everything in it, everyone in it, is touched by sin. And it is the natural state of man to be sinful, to be depraved, to commit acts of evil. And you cannot give them any amount of opportunity or resources, nor can you take away any amount of potentially dangerous objects from them in order to curb this natural, innate evil. You're trying to solve something that is a matter of the spirit, a matter of the heart, with physical means. It doesn't work. Scripture plainly tells us over and over that man is depraved, that every thought of his heart is evil continuously. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? That all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. There is none righteous, not one. And we could go on and on and on. The problem that we have is that the progressive liberal mind is not capable of grasping metaphysical reality, for the most part. The materialist exists purely within the material world, where everything is a matter of resources and chemicals. The chemicals of his brain were off, where he didn't have enough resources. Let's just give him more drugs, or give him more education, or give him more housing, give him more food, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. This is not a matter of someone who didn't have enough resources, someone who didn't have enough education, someone who didn't have access to a happy life. There are plenty of people who've come from all walks of life and done all manner of good or evil, regardless of their circumstances. This is a matter of evil of the heart. And because the progressive liberal does not grasp the metaphysical world, metaphysical reality, they're not capable of solving the problem. They're not capable of even understanding the nature of the problem. This is like what we see in 1 Corinthians 2, verse 14. The natural person does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him, and he is not able to understand them because they are spiritually discerned. A large number of people in the world are simply not capable of grasping spiritual reality. The true materialist dwells purely in the physical world. And it's like if you were to take someone and put them in a cage, put them in a box, and you could furnish it with all sorts of, trees, plants, rocks, give them a little house, give them some, a river, some water, whatever, decorate it however you want. But that's their world. That's all that they live in. That's all they have access to. And if they're within that box, they're unaware of anything outside of it. Within that box, their reality exists. The problem is that that box had to come from somewhere. It has to be composed of something. Everything that's in the box had to come from somewhere. It had to have a cause. Its nature itself had to have a cause. But these people don't question that. They live purely in the cage, the box of physical reality, and it does not occur to many of them to even question why the box, why this, why the rock, why the tree, why the water, why me. These are questions of metaphysics, and a great number of modern scholars don't even engage in metaphysics because they are purely devoted to science and materialism. Science is wonderful, but science, by definition, is a tool of materialism in order to describe and measure material things. They say that metaphysics, the spiritual reality, can't exist because science can't demonstrate it. Of course it can't demonstrate it. That's like saying that you can't use a screwdriver to hammer in a nail, nor can you use a hammer to twist a screw. They're two different tools for two different things. Science is the tool for studying physical manifest reality. It is not the tool for studying metaphysics. That doesn't mean metaphysics doesn't exist. Just like you can't say that a screw doesn't exist because the hammer isn't designed for it, or that a nail doesn't exist because the screwdriver isn't designed for it. Your tool is wrong. But people are so often completely content to limit themselves, to limit their understanding, to limit the scope of their own perception of reality purely because of their devotion to a particular tool. And so the materialist. The problem of evil in this world resides in the spirit. It's a metaphysical problem. You can't take away people's guns to solve these kinds of crimes. Look at countries that have. There are plenty of countries that have taken away people's guns throughout Europe, Australia, And what do people do? Well, they use machetes or they use knives. Well, you're going to take those away too. Well, they'll use their vehicles that'll run people over. People are going to do bad things regardless of what tools they have available. What are you going to do? Ban sticks and rocks because people can use those to kill others as well, and they have, and they do. It's also not a matter of education. People, the left often talks about how, well, we need to educate people to get them out of their situation. No, if they're depraved people, the education is just going to make them intelligent criminals. I know. I've seen it. I'm a clinical herbalist myself. I've sat in chat rooms with med students. Now, one thing about it is if you're in med school, you're reasonably intelligent. You've got a reasonable amount of money. You're reasonably comfortable in life, most likely. It's not an issue of any real problems going on with them. Med students who are in this chat room using the knowledge they had gained to teach other, often children, underage teenagers, how to make meth. You see, giving people a great education, if they are morally bankrupt, just makes intelligent criminals. It's a matter of the heart. And until these morons get it through their heads that this problem cannot be solved through physical means, and we get back on track with the spiritual regeneration of the country and the world, these things are going to continue. So, sorry to say to all of the leftist leaders out there who've been harping on this lately, but prayer actually is effective and a good answer for this problem. Because if we had people on a right moral path, a right spiritual path, that would prevent people from doing things like this. You can't take away all their stuff. There's no amount of things you can give them that's going to change their heart. But the work of God on the Spirit will. And that's what they need.